Denver Broncos Mile High View, the most hated Bronco channel by toxic cheerleaders, Denver Bronco cheerleaders. I don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. Hi there, Arm. Must have been thing. So it looks like Colby, you're all fired up this Father's Day. You're ready to go, ready to get into it.
Yeah, I'm ready to get death threats and be called a racist.
Death threats, yeah. It's okay to you could. It's okay that you get death threatened. That's okay. Just be nicey nice. Just be nicey nice.
Yep.
That's what's important. That you be nicey nice. They can death threat, but you got to be nicey nice.
Yeah.
You were telling some Bronco fans about the death threats and what was their reaction to that?
Well, they didn't respond to that message.
No, I meant allies. I'm talking allies. Once you told them that we were getting dead, or you in particular getting dead.
The Seattle guy that came on the channel.
Yeah.
He didn't respond. He didn't say anything.
No, I was talking about like Cody Sports and stuff like that.
Colby Sports. Colby Sports is a guy. I'll be going on his channel on Monday to talk about some Broncos. So his channel will probably get a lot of hate because I'm on there. So.
I just wonder where all that hate and vile is going to go. Oh, there's no way the Broncos can beat Seattle. There's no way they can beat Seattle. And I was just going over, this whole talk about we never said this, we never said that. I brought up the Raiders to these people. Oh, well, we didn't say that. Roll the tape from last year. All you heard was how the Broncos, there's just no way the Raiders could possibly beat them. That first game, this is a shoe-in. And even talking about the Raiders. Same thing that you get with Seattle. Okay. And I was, I just wanted to take a deep look into the Seattle defense because I didn't really know much about it. Because I wanted to, there's no way that the Seattle can possibly take on the Bronco offense. And then you said that there was a part of the 8 channels of the same propaganda and was talking about how there's just it's just how are they going to stop the offense? And my easy answer for that question is let's start with the offensive line first and foremost. I was watching Seattle go up against a hell of a lot better offensive line with the Saints. And while the Saints could, held their own in some regards, the Seattle took advantage in some respects too. And the offensive line of the Saints and the Broncos aren't even in the same universe, not even remotely. Before I talk about this, I just want to get this idea of 6 years of promising the universe. Okay. I'm really tired of it. It's a show me right now that this is the deal. You have 6 years of mismanagement at the Denver Broncos, total mismanagement, and I haven't seen any difference this year. As a matter of fact, it just seems like more mismanagement. And now to convince themselves, they got paid 8 channels to basically say again, ignore all the problems that they've year in and year out. Ignore those problems. We got yet another quarterback who I feel sorry for. We'll get into that. And it's just gonna wave magic wands, and all that mismanagement's gonna go away. I look at the fact that what you said, the fans don't understand or the cheerleaders have no concept in what linebackers are in today's NFL. I've just got done listening to Kurt Warner talk about coverage. And, organizations that don't understand that right now that today's NFL, you need coverage. You covet coverage linebackers. You covet them. No matter what your system is, you're going to have to cover that middle. Broncos, there is no concept whatsoever. Gregory signing, to me, is more of that mismanagement that we've seen for 6 years. getting Wilson when you don't have the player personnel, your receivers, but the receivers, if this was what we were seeing around the league with top receivers, that'd be one thing, but you got middle of the road so far receivers. I mean, it is what it is. Defense, you just mismanage the defense. Justin Simmons, he's got accolades, but I have to wonder, do those accolades include being picked on because of those? I mean, every team in the NFL goes after you because you have accolades, I guess, right? Okay, and you're going to see more of that. So it's just it's a repeat of last season, but on steroids. So we're going to get into all these discussions that the cheerleaders don't want to hear. Oh, and here I want to say one last thing. This is really important here. I'm counting on less views as once reality hits the Broncos this season. Logically, it can't go any other way. You don't have the player personnel, okay, that you think you have. Like you said, for 6 years. You've ignored all the problems for 6 years. So when all this comes back to bite you in the ass and you want to turn your hate and vile towards probably Russell Wilson, I'm counting on us, all those people that signed up to tell us how wrong we are, to evaporate. We aren't here for subscriptions. We're here to document like we have for 6 years. Being right. And every year we're going to show you, we're going to tell you every year. And you people just evaporate. And you're going out shooting your mouth off at Seattle fans. You got your sports writers locally here can't even leave the Pittsburgh Steelers fans alone. Your toxicity going over there. Justin Simmons better than Mika Fitzpatrick. Okay. Maybe he doesn't have the sports writers, but when I look at the film that this gentleman here provided, it just bad on Simmons jumps out, and play after play and playmaking jumps out at the other one. Sports writers be damned. I just want to say, you can go into the Justin Simmons thing. PFF looked like a bunch of morons by hitching their wagon to Justin Simmons. They rated him number one. They rated him number one last year at the beginning of the season. And he couldn't even hold middle of the ground. But by the time all the evaluations were over with, and even PFF got called out in game 1 with the Giants, they said, yeah, Simmons made his one play appearance and then just walked away, just, hung out. And no way did he deserve even that 90 whatever grade he got, because he did one good play. So there are critics out there too. And plus, the whole entire NFL is picking on him. So I'll shut up. I just wanted to kind of give an overview on things. There's a lot to discuss. So
I just want to discuss the whole Justin Simmons film reviews I did over the weekend. People just don't understand how film works. They don't get it. And I went back and watched the DJ Jones video that we did, just to get an overview of what we talked about then. No one's on my level. I know I'm coming on here being cocky. I could still get better, but there's a reason why I'm getting so much hate right now from Bronco fans. And I'm getting a lot of positivity outside the bubble from Seahawk fans because.
Well, hold on a second. I don't think that you were asked to show highlight reels.
Yeah, from an idiot.
Can I just ask you a question? I'll let you get. Do NFL teams, when they get ready for opponents, do they watch highlight reels? Just a question.
No, when a certain team is facing another team, they don't watch highlight reels. AKA, if you have the Baltimore Ravens, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Raiders, or the Chargers, for example, they don't look at highlight reels. They look at the all 22 that I'm watching. Yeah. Is there stuff more advanced than my stuff? Absolutely. They have stuff that I wish I could have, that we wish we could have. But again, I'd rather work towards getting that type of stuff than getting, locker room passes and, the feel good shit that all the 8 other channels get. But anyway, there's a reason why I believe Justin Simmons is not a top 5 safety. It wasn't because I was picking out bad plays. It was consistent bad plays. Also, on the Marcus Williams thing, I showed inconsistency at its finest from Justin Simmons. And you see Marcus Williams, you have 1 or 2 bad plays here on one drive. With Justin Simmons, it's every other fucking play. With Marcus Williams, it's 1 bad play a quarter or 2 bad plays a quarter, but it's not on a frequent basis as Justin Simmons. It goes into line of what I've been saying for 4 or 5 years now, that Justin Simmons is hyped up by fucking Elway. He's a PR machine, a player by Elway, took over Von Miller's spot so he could, fucking spew bullshit. He has to go on Mile High Huddle for the first time in his career. After I start putting out film on him and have to fucking be cocky and say, I have all these accolades, right? Like, I don't give a fuck about accolades. I give a fuck about your play on the field. I don't give a shit about your accolades. I give a fuck about what you're doing on the field. And what you're doing on the field isn't fucking good enough. You suck. God.
Interject this. Justin, if you're that good, why are you being picked on? Why do we constantly see in the film them going your way? Hold on a second. Going your way, going right at you. It's just nonstop. And here's the thing. When you got sports writers, I guess, let's just be honest. Sports writers have been hyping players since, the 19th century, baseball players, going that far back. I get it. It's their job to hype players up.
Yeah, but this is just
so I'm just saying. So when you got writers hyping you up, does that mean you don't have to work that hard? Just a question.
Well, here's a question. I like what you said there about getting picked on, but also, why are you going on Mile High Huddle and trying to convince us? Like, if you're this fucking good, you don't need to convince us at all. That's another thing. Stop convincing me that this team is going to the fucking Super Bowl. Stop convincing me that this team is going to go to the playoffs, because you're part of a bigger issue, Justin Simmons. And I'm going to be, you know what? And I've been getting death threats and be called racist because I have a difference of opinion and my film speaks for itself. And I'm getting these fucking idiots on here that think that they fucking know what coverage linebackers. I want to talk about that too later when we get into that. But strictly talking about Justin Simmons, the guy fucking sucks. He gets beat over the top. Everyone's bringing up this last play that I recently did with the Marcus Williams and Justin Simmons thing. I don't know if you got a chance to look at that. He was strictly used from a schematic standpoint to come down into the box to neutralize the middle field while the linebackers went forward. You fucking idiots. He was used to be a coverage linebacker on that play. And then look what happened. What did Derek Carr do? Went right over the top because he misread the play again.
Well, and that's just going to keep going on and on. It's not going to change next year. And
you're going to sit there and say, who the fuck is Jesse Bates? That guy is the best safety in the NFL. He was in the playoffs making plays.
Okay. So this, these people, this is my mindset. If you can be lied to going on 6 seasons.
I agree.
Okay, I cannot take you serious at all. You don't mind being lied to, and there isn't a lie you won't swallow. And all your whole all these problems don't exist that've been existing and just getting worse for 6 years. You're hinging everything on one guy, and that's Russell Wilson. And this is why I feel sorry for him. I feel so sorry for Russell Wilson. You cannot ask Russell Wilson to come here and put a Band-Aid on 6 straight seasons of mismanagement. Go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you were talking about the hype that it's on steroids. I think that when you were talking about that, something clicked in my head. It's just funny how all these players are coming out trying to convince us that they're a Super Bowl team after OTAs. What did I say? What did I say in the past 2 videos? I said, I believe the coaching staff and the media is seeing stuff that we've seen for 6 straight years now, and they're cranking out PR bullshit to try and fucking lessen the fucking scrutiny that they're going to eventually get from other teams around the National Football League.
Okay, and that would specifically be the 1 year. Oh, they
Yeah.
need one.
Yes.
We never said playoff. We didn't say. Well, no, we didn't. We always did. They never say anything. They never say anything. Yeah. Oh yeah. They need a year. Oh yeah. So that's that one side of their mouth they're talking about, right?
Correct. But also you have all these players coming on here saying that we're going to the Super Bowl. They're just like Justin said, like, it's just funny to me that I cranked out film and then the next day and the next morning, Justin Simmons comes on and tries to convince everybody that he has all these accolades. We're going to the Super Bowl. Russell Wilson has changed the culture in the Broncos organization, shitting on the other quarterbacks. It's like, you're really trying to convince me that Russell Wilson is going to be the sole reason that we go to the Super Bowl, yet he cannot wave magic wands on 6 to 7 years of absolute shit.
Well, he's going to be the target of this toxicity.
Yep.
When
I know.
We're back to square one, like we have season after, because again, don't want to hear the problems.
Correct.
They're going to be pointing the finger at it because guess what? We gave him everything. That's what they're saying. We gave him. You didn't give him anything. You didn't.
Did you upgrade your offensive line?
No. Oh. That's.
Wow.
There was a video put out by a platform out there in PR land saying, I don't know how are teams gonna game plan this? I easily can answer that question.
Yeah.
There's 31 other teams. We're going to attack you right at your line, your weakest point. Because we know you didn't do anything to upgrade that line. You didn't do anything to upgrade that line, and it's going to all start from there. Once we get Wilson off his mark, guess what? Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck.
No, I completely agree with you. I wouldn't just be talking strictly offensive line, the defensive line too. I mean, it's both sides of the line of scrimmage, and that's going to happen again. It's going to rear its ugly head I think the defense is going to be a lot worse than what we've seen over the past 6 years. I think this is going to be the worst defense we've seen in a very long time. I think they're going to be thrown on. I think, you know what? And I would not be surprised whatsoever. And every time I watch an OTA highlight reel, it's Justin Simmons getting beat over the top or they're thrown right in the middle of the defense. Just like I've been saying for fucking months now.
But why do you think they're doing this? Oh, it's going to take a year.
And why do you think they're hyping up the offense? Because they're looking good against the shitty defense.
Okay, I want to take a timeout here just for a second. I want to make a disclaimer here. I'm not getting off on this. We are not getting off on this. If this team finally gets rid of that cancer that's in the front office and starts heading in the direction, starts getting the player personnel, we will start sounding more of the way you want us to sound. But we are in no way connected with getting it. The way this is something that me and Colby said, right? Like from day one. We said we're not, by the time the Broncos are actually legit, none of these people are going to be on this team. I have no allegiance to any of them, really, not very far and few between, because they're not going to be around. The front office is going to be gone. It's just going to be, I don't believe these coaches, I don't believe Peyton's going to be there. When this whole thing's said and done, and they start getting this right, the landscape is going to look a lot different. I wanted to get that disclaimer out. And then we'll start sounding more the way you want us to sound. But we're not here to cheerlead toxicity crap. And I want to give one example of that. Because these cheerleaders, they're just like the front office. There's really no difference. The 8 sounding soundboards out there. Oh, I got just some highlights to make you feel good. Come over here, subscribe. Please don't subscribe here. Please don't. We're expecting a drop once the Broncos start dropping. We're expecting it. But I want to go back to your last video with Williams and Simmons. Now, some morons are speaking, I'm going to call it front office speak, are challenging you on linebacking. Okay, this is today's, let's give you little mental midgets, especially you front office, more, I'm addressing more of the front office of the Denver Broncos. Kurt Warner, I was just watching because I needed to familiarize myself with the defense. Kurt Warner of Seattle. Kurt Warner does this breakdown of Seattle's defense, just out of the blue, right? It just happens to be Seattle. What is the first thing he talk about? What's the first thing that he talks about? He talks about coverage linebacking, and it's about half the video. You freaking morons. I'm talking to the front office. You better get your head out of your collective asses. And Walton, get a clue. When you see the Broncos, as they have for 6 fucking years, you beat in the passing game and the linebacking area, and boy, you're going to see it this year. You're going to see it this year. And I mean, if you have an OC on any of the 31 of these teams that's worth their salt, they're going to attack the middle of it like they have every year. I'm so done with it. If I was not a good if I was a bad Bronco fan, I would cheerlead that cancer. That we don't want to hear it, we don't want to see it every fucking year. Now, hopefully Walton will get a clue when he sees this thing unfold and say, "Man, we gave you this is your 7th year." And you know, yeah, these people. Super Bowl? I mean, playoffs? Are you fucking kidding me? we're getting ahead of this thing.
Well,
that's what is so like to you? Don't you know history? Do you forget 30 seconds ago? It just, I'm sorry I'm going off, but you know, you have it with the fans. I got it with the front office. I'm just so sick of that. Just wait a minute. Give me just a second here. If I own this goddamn team, if I own this team, by God, you front office, you're out of there. I don't have any allegiance to you whatsoever. Man, you are going to be out of there so fast. We're going to get this thing done right. This will be 7 years. You better be paranoid because when this thing unfolds, the way it has to, because you ignored all your problems, you just kept doing the same thing over again. You think history's going to change because Russell Wilson? Oh, I bet you I'm going to go off. I'm going off. I bet you, John Elway, I bet you 5,000 shekels, whatever, that you figure it. If Russell Wilson can't cover your mismanagement, they'll just blame him. They'll just blame Wilson. I can just sneak out of the back. Okay, just sneak out the back door out the sinking ship. I know that's how you're thinking. That's how you've been thinking. And it's just I'm not going to let you burn Russell Wilson. I'm not. Now we've heard from Seattle fans about his shortcomings and stuff like this, and I agree with the things that they're saying, but this is not a Russell Wilson problem, really. This is much bigger than that. But I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll calm down.
No, you do apologize. I love when you do this because it needs to be said. No one else on those 8 sounding boards aren't going to say the stuff we say. And that's why we're hated. Again, that comes from Dove Valley. You think I have a problem with the fans. I have a problem with this whole fucking community in general. That's where I get pissed off. Because, again, let me go on my thing here. It's not – people misconstrued when I get fucking pissed. No, I'm pissed off because people don't realize that film takes a lot of effort and time out of my fucking day, okay? It usually takes me 5 to 6 hours if I do it properly to fucking edit and upload and watch a bunch of film and try and explain to people in terms of not just the community here, but communities around the National Football League that if they watch my channel, like Seattle, like the Bengals, like the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Mika Fitzpatrick video is doing excellent. And I think that has a lot to do with how it went over to the Pittsburgh side of the community than this community here. But again, people misconstrued every time I get pissed off because you do understand when I get death threats and called a racist because of a difference of opinion, that's where I have an issue, because you're going to tell me to be nice, but it's okay for those people to come on my channel and your channel too and call us racist and attack us personally when we have other things outside of here that we do, and you do too, that we don't have 90, like these platforms that get paid to do what they do, and they can do whatever they want. But yet again, they don't show film. They don't break down the film. They don't break this team apart like me and you do and Colby Sports and Mile High 6. They don't break they don't break this team apart and look at it from an objective point of view. Go ahead. I know you want to speak.
I want to speak on this racism crap. I can tell you right now that Mika Fitzpatrick definitely appreciates what you did. I can guarantee you that he appreciates that. Jesse Bates, he appreciates that. I mean, they don't have sports writers writing a bunch of bullshit, then they end up looking like a bunch of morons at the end of the season. Their own PFF's own grading system, game by game by game. Oh, I guess he really wasn't what we said he was. Those people don't have any problem. They're probably somebody finally show. It's just here we go. This whole sports writing thing, I get it. It's been an industry that probably goes to the 19th century, overhyping. But it just comes to a point where it's just gotten so out of hand here. And this also, like I said, it's going to end up where I'm going to have to get on the defense and hold these people accountable and not let them run Russell Wilson, say it's all on him. I just, I know they're going to want to do it.
Well, again, you know what? I shouldn't worry too much about the fans. You're right. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely right. But again, it comes from a different point of view for me, because I don't get paid for this and I still do what I do. And again, like, I could still get better. I know I can get better, and that's why I bust my ass to get better. And people don't realize that I don't sit there and say, wow, I did my job today. No, I look at things, I watch other people so I could get better at what I can do. But anyway, going to the linebacker point, because I think this is a good conversation we can have, because you leaving off of that, I think there's more to be, left on. There's more left on that bone there. People understand something here. When you think about Super Bowl contenders, when you think about Super Bowl winning teams, what do they have? They have, again, you can go back and watch my Marcus Williams film. Don't just watch Marcus Williams. Watch that defensive line affect the game from Mac Jones. Watch the coverage linebacking with the Mario Davis and Quan Alexander, who I've been wanting for 3 to 5 years now, who could play that middle linebacker role, but I can't have that. Again, people don't understand. When you say that, and I quote, that linebacking 101 is a linebacker to go forward, I agree with you if this was in the 90s and early 2000s. I agree with you. 100%. But the game has changed around football. It has. Everything is predicated in the middle of the field. So what do teams covet most of all? Isaiah Simmons, Zaven Collins, Devin Bushes, Deion Jones, Derwin James that can come down, play in the box. Those hybrid safeties, a Jesse Bates, a Mika Fitzpatrick, a Marcus Williams, those guys that you can move down into the box, play that coverage linebacking role that can neutralize the middle of the field. And the Denver Broncos are so hell-bent on taking what Vic Fangio did with Baron Browning and Kenny Young, move Baron Browning outside when there's no tape whatsoever of him playing that 100%, and then Kenny Young, you let Kenny Young go, and he goes to the Raiders with Jayon Brown. They shored up that middle linebacking core. Teams are in our own division understand that, but the Denver Broncos bring back Josie Jewell on a 2-year deal, which I predicted they were going to do because they love Josie Jewell. He sucks in coverage. You bring in Alex Singleton, who is more of a off-ball linebacker than a Mike or Will linebacker. And there's a difference between off-ball linebackers and Mike and Will linebackers. There is a complete difference. Off-ball linebackers, history-wise and prototypically, they are better in a 4-3 defense more than a 3-4 defense. Again, you're bringing a Randy Gregory from a 4-3 defense, and Alex Singleton from a 4-3 defense. Do people understand what this defense is truly going to be? You bring up the middle linebacking core, which is absolutely understandable because these people don't fucking get it. Dove Valley and the front office don't understand it. But also, this defensive line, too. You know, we talk about the coverage linebackers. I agree with you. But me personally, I covet coverage linebackers. I do. I wanted a Troy Anderson, a Chad Muma in this past draft. They went to, the teams that get it. I covet more of those interior defensive linemen that will make those coverage linebackers elite players. You saw that with the Buccaneers. You saw that with the Los Angeles Rams. You even saw that with the Cincinnati Bengals with that defensive line, how they helped a Logan Wilson, an Akeem Davis-Gaither, a Jermaine Pratt. You bring up the Zaven Collins point, which Vic Fangio, I think, hit him up and said, hey, I'm really interested in you. I really want you. John Elway's like, no, sir. We'd rather go get Patrick Surtain. Again, you are absolutely right. And this man gets all the credit because he was the first person that said that we believe Vic Fangio gave the call to Zaven Collins. Could you imagine a linebacking core of Devin Bush and Zaven Collins? And you continue to build your defensive line like you bring in a Travis Jones. You bring in a Sheldon Joseph Day. You get rid of the fucking terrible play by Draymond Jones. You bring in a DJ Jones to play that nose technique. You have so much there that you left over the past 2 years that you could have built this team up and then went and got Russell Wilson. But no, you put the cart in front of the horse for the mismanagement of 7 fucking years now. Go ahead.
Yeah. Do you think handing Draymond Jones off to the other offensive lineman is going to change this year? Yeah. You think that's going to change this year? And
again, that's another thing. They're hyping up Draymond Jones. Oh, he's having a great OTAs.
Yeah.
It's again the same fucking thing for 4 years.
Repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat, and you're expecting something different to happen. You people are insane. You in the front office, you that cheerlead this insanity, you are insane. Doing the same thing over and over is insane. You got to realize what you don't have it's just the bottom line. History, we're very confident because we got history on our side. It's just like watching Groundhog's Day all over again. And these people, the alarm went off. It's going to be different this time. Super Bowl, the playoffs.
Well, it's not that we have history on our side. Is that we do an in-depth analysis on breaking this team
on top of it.
In film review, we watched film of Alex Singleton with the Eagles, with Randy Gregory with the Cowboys, Draymond Jones again for the 3rd fucking year in a row who sucks, Justin Simmons who can't. I just think he sucks. I don't think he can do his job good. I don't think he's a very good safety.
But he doesn't have to. He's got all the sports writers. Yeah, he's got Elway's tit. Life is great. You don't have, and this is the thing too. And Justin Simmons isn't the only person that's accused of this.
Mm-hmm.
Just you don't have to play that hard. Just make sure that you don't get injured and get all your incentives. Just meet your little incentives and get your contract. Get your all the meat off your contract. It's acceptable for all those delusional idiots that to just cheerlead. We used to like barbecue people for that, but not Justin Simmons. No, we're going to cheer that all, and not in this day and age. We're just going to cheer it on. Now we got 8 channels of PR from Dove Valley to just back it all up,
Yeah, I completely. Go ahead.
I'm just saying that, yeah, they better be paranoid.
Well, I think they are. I think what they've seen in OTAs and minicamp is, I think they're shitting down their pants. And I think they're so afraid of people like me and you, but I think they're more afraid of the people outside the bubble from other teams that seen this fucking just avalanche of PR bullshit. I think it's worse this year than it has been for 7 years.
Oh no, it's the crown jewel of BS. It's this year.
Yeah, because they Wilson and they put the cart for the horse. Go ahead.
I'm just saying it. Every year it's the moon. Now it's the universe.
Of course it is, because they put the cart in front of the horse with Russell Wilson. Me and you have said that. And on top of that, the mismanagement of the team. Free agency made no sense. The draft, again, made no sense. It's the player development surplus of moves that you put on this team that made absolutely no sense outside of a DJ Jones, outside of a Luke Wattenberg, a Matt Hennessy, and Uzuriki. Guys like that, it is, you sit there and ask yourself, I mean, the Greg Dulcich hype, where I haven't even heard a blip of this guy in OTAs and minicamp. No one is talking about him. And who, again, it's the same thing we said coming out of UCLA. I guarantee you he has been doing things that are like, oh my God, okay, let's not talk about him. 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 Let's not like they're so obsessed with hyping up their own very players, but a Kareem Jackson, a DJ Jones, a
D. Williams, get him out of town. Hey, let's trade him.
Quentin Miners, a Luke, guys like that actually make an Eric Saubert, guys like that. Oh no, they suck. We got to trade them. Like
yeah.
it's
Chubb, get Chubb out of town. Yeah, that's how they roll. That's how they roll.
And
Kenny Young, get him out of town.
Yeah, move Baron Browning outside because that makes total sense.
Yeah, Bryce Callahan. No, out you go. We're gonna downgrade that one.
I'm probably gonna again. We had a Seattle fan come on here and talk about the West Coast.
Talk about that. Talk about what this Seattle fan said.
You go ahead. You go ahead because
you read it. I haven't even read it. No, but you told me about it. So go ahead.
Okay. So we had a Seattle Seahawks fan basically say that Russell Wilson has his good, but his bad outweighs his good in a West Coast offense. I'm just going to sum it up like that. He doesn't really have. Let me just say, when stuff breaks down, he's going to rely more on that deep ball, more than the short to intermediates when he is it's structured in a way where you do a lot of bootlegs, you do a lot of that. He doesn't fit that, and you were telling me that he fits better in a New England Patriots system where he sits in the pocket, the offensive line is built around him. Bill Belichick, just stay in the pocket, do the check downs, do Tom Brady ball while I can just handle the defense. I think what you're going to see this year, and I said it when Nathaniel Hackett was hired, because I said he's a Vance Joseph 2.0. He doesn't get any say. He's just going to hype everything up. Practice was great today, all the above. I think what you're going to see is a breakdown of this offense. I think you're going to see that week 1, possibly week 2 at the beginning of the season, because I think John Elway is so hell-bent on proving people like you and I wrong that he's going to want to throw it 20-plus yards, have Pat Shurmur ball 3 to 4 to 5 wide receiver sets, and they're just going to throw the football downfield. I think that is the game plan, and I think that's going to be the detriment of Russell Wilson in Denver because he does not have a stable organization around him that can help him. Walton, I'm talking to you. You better hold this you better start doing something about this organization because this is 7 years. This will be going on for 7 years of total mismanagement. If you just sit on your ass and don't do anything, you continue to let this thing slide. Even if John Elway's out of that building, he still has his planned people in there. Well, yeah, exactly. You need
tentacles.
Yeah, you need if this thing is gonna go the way that my partner and I think it's gonna go. You need to start over. You need to start clean. You need to start getting rid of players like a Draymond Jones, a Jerry Jeudy, a Justin Simmons. I mean, it's going to be really hard to move off of Justin Simmons because of the contract you gave him. Again, it's stuff like that. It's stuff like that where it's going to be hard to get off players like that because you gave the entire organizational money to a guy in Justin Simmons who's a great spokesperson, but sucks on the field.
Yeah, he's a master of the press conference. I know Steve Atwater. He's not as good as Justin Simmons in that category of holding down a press conference.
That was really hard for me to keep a straight face on because it's not true at all.
Yeah. I have not forgotten about Steve Atwater, but
top five.
Yeah, but I'm sure in 10 years nobody will even remember Justin Simmons. So I want to talk about this offense and the hell bent this idea that how are they going to stop him? Well, the PR machine is selling the run. Oh, they're going to run. I mean, it'd be nice that's what this channel said before they did. You better run the football with Russell Wilson. Oh, well, don't worry, they will. You really think, looking at history, of the guy I like to call Warden Hazen, John Elway, sitting up in that suite? He's not on the golf course. He's got a suite, overlooks the practice field. You really think this guy can help himself and his ego? We got to throw it 50 times. I know it's going to happen. I know the call's going to come in, and it's going to happen. It would be great, maybe with us jumping ahead and maybe this will keep Elway at least really his guts. Just like, oh, I know he wants to do it. But maybe us, exposing it a little bit, maybe he'll refrain from it.
Well, okay, so let me just interject real quick. I apologize. You're on a roll. I believe they watch this channel because half the stuff you say the next week or 2 weeks later comes true. Like again, it's not because what we're seeing and then like, oh, it comes true eventually. No, I believe they watch both of our channels because they are so scared of people like you and I, Colby Sports, Mile High Six, that actually have an opinion. And like I said, there's other Bronco fans out there that have a voice that aren't saying anything because they don't want to deal with the toxicity.
Keyshawn Johnson. They want to be Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah. They don't want to be Keyshawn Johnson. Great point. I think, there's a reason why there's so much hate on both of our channels, and now it's seeping into Colby Sports and Mile High Six because they're so afraid of people like us that actually have a difference of opinion, that actually break this team apart completely, look at the ins and outs of this organization through a certain lens, not the John Elway lens where I'm going to go get Pat Shurmur because the Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl. It's a different type of lens. And you were bringing up a great point with this offense. I don't even think it matters if we get ahead of it because Elway's ego is so bad that it is. We saw it last year with Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock. He was so hell-bent on we face good teams like the Ravens and Steelers, for example, and the Raiders. I want to throw it 20-plus or 30-plus times a game. I want to abandon. Okay, we can do the running. We can do the run here and there in the first, second quarter, and do it early third. But we need to We need to pass the football because we have all these. We have the best trio of receivers.
Oh yeah, but it's the NFL's best. You go talk to the front office.
Top five.
Yeah. Go talk to the front office. Oh yeah, it can't be beat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think this offensive line is going to rear its ugly head again.
You think?
Well, I mean, people last year, even you to some degree, were saying, okay, maybe this offensive line did get a little better, and I was like, whoa, no. But you were also saying that the defensive line, and I was saying, okay, maybe the defensive line did get better here and there, but you're the one saying, no, this defensive line sucks. So it goes both ways. And that's why I'm talking about objectivity. I think the defense is going to be a lot worse than the offense.
I do.
Due to the fact that you ripped everything that Vic Fangio did to at least somewhat make this defense stable enough to hold its own. and then you just rip that apart, put Baron Browning there.
Yeah, there's no coverage linebacking mentality in this front office whatsoever.
There's no your pass rush either. It's all edges.
Yeah. Now, I was, before the show, I was going over the Seattle's defense. I'm curious about it because again, the same Bronco fans who said they never said, oh, we're going to walk all over the Raiders. And that's all they said last year in that first game. It's all you heard. We were anybody go check our pre-Raider game out. If you want to hear what we said versus, we were going to kill them, but that's what we're hearing now with Seattle. There's these people that can't shut their fucking pie hole saying the same thing for 6 years, just like last year. Oh, there's no way Seattle can beat the Broncos. Are you fucking on what crack are you smoking? I'm watching the defense because I had no concept, and I'm watching their front seven against the New Orleans Saints. And believe me, the Saints, their front seven is in another universe compared to ours. And while the Saints could hold their own in some, but they lost. So I'm just saying that the Broncos are going to have their hands full in the front seven alone. Also, one thing that, yes, Russell Wilson knows their defense, but one thing their defense understands is Russell Wilson. They also are built to cover all these receivers. They're literally built for that. So this isn't going to be easy, even for the offense. Now, you take a look at our defense, and I don't care, Geno Smith or Locke, whoever it is going to be. I'm thinking maybe you're right. I think it's more maybe Geno Smith for loyalty reasons. That first game could be Geno Smith. I don't see Geno Smith having any problem tearing apart the middle of this Bronco defense whatsoever.
I think no offense.
Here's the thing. He's gonna have a pocket almost every single time. I mean, he gave Geno Smith the pocket when they played the Saints defense, which is in another universe. And they gave Geno Smith a pocket, and you shouldn't have to hold on to the ball very long. You should be able to just tear up that middle with no problem at all. That should just be a given. So this ain't going to be an easy game. I'm not saying the Broncos are going to lose. I'm just saying it's not going to be as easy as just like you said with the Raiders. You better wake up. Go ahead.
It's a lot. Okay. So I'm trying to think here. You were watching the against the Saints, correct? Well,
I did that, and then I watched Kurt Warner's breakdown. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to come on here and say that their front seven's elite. I'm not going to say that, but because Wanu's and Dove Valley and them would misconstrue what we say. I'm not saying that their defensive line is elite because it's far from it. They're not the same defense as they were in the Legion of Boom because they paid all that money to Russell Wilson again.
Yeah.
But again, they still got pieces on that defense that should keep you up at night. Al Woods isn't a scrub. Yeah, he's older now. He's a guy that can eat 2 blocks. You have Shelby Harris, who I want to see him next to a guy like Al Woods who eats up 2 blocks and see him go one-on-one. I'm not a really big fan of Shelby Harris. We're still paying Shelby Harris, by the way, all that dead cat money. And they got better on the edges there with Bobby Mafe from Minnesota.
They definitely are. That's one of their stronger suits. Plus, their linebacker coverage is one of their. Yeah.
They got Jordan Brooks, who's one of the best coverage linebackers in the league. Cody Barton, you were talking about too earlier.
Why would they go after coverage linebackers? Boy, it's a mystery why teams would do that.
And they also got a safety in Jamal Adams who they can bring down into the box, play that poor man's version of Cam Chancellor, bring him down, kind of roam that middle of the defense, actually do it properly, unlike a Justin fucking Simmons who sucks. I might just do a film review on that too. But anyway, I mean, I don't care. Again, it's more of the structure for Seattle. I like Seattle's structure more than Denver's structure. Now, am I saying that Seattle's defense is better than Denver's? From a player-to-player standpoint,
it may be this year, yeah.
This year, and I agree with your analysis, because when you look at the Pete Carroll defense, again, people he's 16 years old. Yeah, they were saying the same thing about Fangio. Pete Carroll is a defensive mastermind, and I don't want people to misconstrue what I'm saying here. His defense is a very complex defense, and Kurt Warner explained that in the video. If you listen to it, it's a
I'll link that too. I'll link that. Yeah.
I'm sorry if I'm going off too long. I'm just trying to explain.
No, it's fine. This is fine.
Okay. The complex defense. He runs a lot of cover 3, cover 6, cover 4, cover 2 to, I would say, be like a Swiss Army knife. That's why they got a Jamal Adams. That's why they got a Shelby Harris, because when you look at the Legion of Boom defense, you had that defense where the front 7 was elite, but they also had players that were very twitchy on that defensive line that were able, like a Cliff Averill, Michael Bennett fit perfectly in that role. They had Bobby Wagner's, they had all the above, Bruce Irvin's, guys, that was a very, very good defense. But I was looking more at it of a schematic point of view, because I never saw a defense like that. And you saw Gus Bradley with the Raiders last year. He had very good success against the Broncos because his system was very complex. And I think with, Russell Wilson knows the defense. Yeah. Let me tell you something. You really think that these receivers, a la, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, and Tim Patrick, they're not DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Dwayne Eskridge here. They're not that. I'm letting you know that right here, right now. And the offensive line for the Denver Broncos is not on the level of Seattle's. Seattle's offensive line was one of the worst.
It was ranked. Well, I'm watching film on it. Film
out there, and so did you. And we're like, look at the pocket they're getting. I did a film review on Seattle's offensive line against the 49ers defensive line, which is one of the most elite defensive lines in the National Football League. And the pocket they were given Russell Wilson, and this goes to the commenter's point. He held on to the ball too long. There's instances in that game where there's receivers open and he's holding on to the ball too long. That's a problem of Russell Wilson, and that's what I get afraid of behind that offensive line. If we had like a Geno Smith who can get the ball out quick, if we had Tom Brady who get the ball out quick, I'm telling you, there's a difference between getting the ball out quick.
That's the only thing they can do is get the. I'm telling you, it's got to come out quick, because I'm just saying I disagree with one thing. I don't think he's going to have time to hold on to the ball too long. I think it's going to break down.
I think I see that. I can see what you're saying. I could have explained that better, but I agree with you. I don't think.
I know. Yeah. I think they have no choice but to get rid of it quick.
Now, just to be fair about the Broncos offensive line, there are there's little moments where that offensive line holds up. There's very little, very, very, very little. I will give them that. But again, it's not on a frequent basis like you saw from Seattle's offensive line. And that's what I'm afraid of.
Not even close.
And this is why me and my partner are so hell-bent on, you guys want to bury Russell Wilson? You better look at the surrounding pieces around him before you blame him, because I am going to be I have screenshotted a bunch of comments, saved them in a file. You guys, the instant I hear you guys start blaming him and say we wanted Aaron Rodgers all along, which I believe that's what they're going to say, I'm going to hold each and every one of you people, Dove Valley, John Elway, you ain't going to be like sneaking out the back door. I'm going to be like, before you leave the door, before the door hits you on the way out, this is all your fault, buddy, because, you got your quarterback, you put the cart in front of the horse. Like all the other, people around the National Football League are saying, not just me and you put the cart in front of the horse. I'm just saying you better take a good look about this offense and defense, because the reason why they're spewing out so much PR bullshit and it's hyped up on steroids like this man started off with is because they're seeing stuff in OTAs and minicamp that will make you fucking scared shitless.
Probably. I think that was a good call on your part. I think so. But
Okay.
I think the buzzsaw is coming. I really do. I think the buzzsaw is coming.
Now, I actually have a question for you. Do you think okay, when you talk about buzzsaw, are you talking about in terms of how they turn on Russell Wilson? Or are you talking about when they face the
But when they
Raiders?
face, when they face, when they
Okay,
face,
so, well, when they face, are you talking about when they face the Seahawks or when it's the Raiders?
all of them. See, all of them.
I agree.
Again,
I
I think
agree.
this is well, with the defense, that could be a game changer as far as I'm saying I look at them as a team muddling in the middle.
Still,
If this and it could go worse if this defense is implodes. I mean, it could even be worse.
can they win eight games this year? There's a possibility of that, and I'm not saying there isn't a possibility of that,
There's a
but it's
possibility
very
that it's if things work out for them just right. Best case scenario, maybe 9 games. Best, and it'd have to be like an unbelievable best case scenario.
well, but again, that's if everything falls into their lap, like the ball goes their way, the refs. It's just there has to be a lot of deciding factors if they go. I don't believe they're going to win 9 games. I don't see it. I don't see it. Now, is there a way where they can win 8 games? But again, I still see them as that 6 to 7, 8 win team. That
Six, yeah, I could see this. I mean, it would not surprise me if they only won 6 games.
it wouldn't surprise me either. You guys are just hating. No, I'm breaking this team apart. And again, we saw it last year. You guys said we were going to go to the playoffs. Now you guys are promising Super Bowl. Justin Simmons is doing it. Oh, we're going to go to the Super Bowl and we're going to win it. We're not just going to go there to make it. Okay, Justin Simmons, I'm holding you accountable for that, buddy. I clipped it.
Well, I don't mind if players say that, if feel that. I mean, where were you last year? That's what when he said that, I'm like, were you not doing that last year and the year before that? Were you not at least in
No, they
that
were saying,
mindset?
oh, we just got to make it to the playoffs. We got to make it. It was the playoff talk. Now it's because now we got Russell Wilson. We 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 just got worse on defense. We rotated a right tackle for another right tackle. It's just, and you got rid of some good players like Bryce Callahan and Kenny Young. It's
Like I said, I can tell you right off the bat how to beat this Bronco offense. It just goes right. Well, attack your weakest link, your offensive line. We'll attack it, and we'll get Russell Wilson off script. We'll get him off script. We know that is watching the film. Again, this is an opinion. It's watching the film. When he goes off script, his percentage goes way down. His completion percentage goes way down. If he can stay in the pocket and step up and make his throws, his ceiling's way up here. That's why I said to New England, I said, if Belichick put a leash on Russell Wilson and said, you're gonna throw it short and medium most of the time. We'll give you a bomb every now and then. He'd be great. Well, but what we will give you is a clean pocket to go through your reads and you can make your throw. He's not going to have that here. He's it's going to be attack this offensive line, get him off his spot. And again, the completion percentage is going to go down. Now, Seattle fans said he's like a king of 3 and outs. I just don't see him having anywhere near the time to go through the reads that he ever had or hang on to the ball that he had with Seattle. What I'm watching on film, both Denver's offensive line. I just see another quarterback getting killed. I said maybe week 6 he gets injured, week 5 he gets injured. I don't know.
I think it's the same time frame what you saw from Teddy is around when we start facing the Brown, like last year when we faced the Ravens, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Raiders. Guys that had better player personnel than Denver. But you were bringing up the point when he goes to New England. You were bringing up stability. I would say stability in that organization where he feels comfortable, so he doesn't have to walk on eggshells. Because, again, you have Troy Rank, Denver 7 News. It's just little camp that Cortland Sutton, Russell Wilson were doing, and the first thing that comes out of Troy Rank's mouth. A lot of people are holding you for expectations this year, to go to the playoffs and Super Bowl. What do you say to that? It's like you're trying to put something out there that is, I believe, journalism at its least favorite point. You can say it better than I can because you were a journalist and you worked for the media. But when I hear that, you're setting up Russell Wilson for failure. And you're talking about getting a quarterback killed. I think it's going to be more of a high-profile quarterback killed, and this is why I believe other teams around the league are watching this situation in Denver, because Russell Wilson is a high-profile quarterback. Everyone knows this. And the PR machine that you put it on, ESPN, Fox Sports, all the above, people are going to watch you. And how many primetime games you have this year, it's not just the people around the league and organization, it's the fans around the National Football League that actually have stable organizations that are fans of them, that don't spew toxicity around around their own communities. It's that right there that I think is going to get Russell Wilson killed in Denver.
Well, I can tell you right now, but reading the reactions from players around the league about the Broncos, they're like, what? What? They're like, yeah, we understand Russell Wilson, but the Broncos, what? That player personnel? I hate to break this to you. They're not shaking in their boots. Just let you know.
Yeah, I agree with you. And a lot of people say, well, we're gonna, we went 1-5 in our division last year, and people refuse to look at that. We went 0-2 with the Raiders, 0-2 with the Chiefs, and we split with the Chargers. You're saying we're gonna split with the Chiefs. I would not be surprised if we go 0-6 in our own division. I would not be surprised.
If I've said that too, that wouldn't surprise me either. I just want to say too, this first game, one thing I noticed that Seattle actually does fairly well is they stuff the run pretty. They're a pretty good run stuffing team.
Why is that? Because of you okay, explain on that. I actually want to hear when you were watching.
Here's a team that specializes in coverage linebacking. But this is what we talk about, coveting players that can make stops in the run but have great cover. This is the new NFL. These guys are going to be coveted. And I'm going to go off track just really quick and then get back. I honestly think that the NFL, they're not going to be able to pay quarterbacks. I think it's just going they're shooting their own. The money is going to have to go around. But anyway, back to the running situation is you have like you said an organization that's ahead of its time as far as schematics is concerned. Teams are starting to figure it out. Obviously, this front office is completely still stuck in the 90s. They have no concept of cover. And I mean, look what they did here in Denver. They took Kenny Young and got rid of him. Just off you go. There was no value there to them. Browning, go to the edge, because all we know is edges. Okay. Again, you can run on this team, and you can throw on this team. And it's no mystery. I didn't see any improvements, and they're going to be like, this is what I want to say about Seattle just real quick, is that not about just so much the schematic. If they can stop the Broncos running game, you guarantee Elway's going to go right to that 50 passes. You better believe it. Oh, yeah. Seattle. Yeah, the same crap we heard with the Raiders. You said that same thing last year with the Raiders. Oh, but they're in our division. Our division's the best. Yeah, you're not the best, Broncos. And you didn't say you did not say that. You were all about how the Broncos were going to kill the Raiders. All of you were about that. All you toxic cheerleaders were all about that. The huddle was about that. There's no way they could. No way they could possibly lose that. We're hearing it again. Here you go again. And you're going to embarrass us all. That's why you're toxic. You're going to embarrass us all. And, you'll run and hide because you're cowards like you always do. You don't have guts to stand up like we do. It's not even in your wheelhouse. You sit there, you're 17-0 every offseason. 17-0. And I know you're going to hide. I know you're going to evaporate. I know the subscriptions will go down. I know it. It's Groundhog's Day, Here we go again. Except in your case, you don't learn anything. You learn nothing.
No, this is what makes me and you so elite at what we do is because we take a playbook out. We take a playbook from what the good organizations do is we learn every year. We learn, okay, what is the NFL going towards now? Okay, let's go look at film on college prospects that can fit a system like that. Or let's go look at high school prospects, which I've been starting to do lately.
I asked you to do that.
Yeah, yep. I don't do my film. I don't do my channel for subscriptions. I could care less about that. I don't do it for the views. This is a chronicle, just like your channel. This is why I came on this with you. Again, you were talking about, and this is another great point. You were talking about the coverage linebackers with Seattle and all that. You were talking about Kenny Young and Baron Browning. I would go all the way back to Danny Trevathan and Brandon Marshall, the linebacker, when they got rid of those two. Again, you got rid of Danny Trevathan and you brought in.
Well, look who was running the show back then. Who was in charge of player personnel back then?
He was still running the show back still. He's still there. Or again, you had Wade Phillips for one more year, and then
you had Adam Peters bringing those guys and Wade Phillips working together. John Elway had a leash on, Pat Bowlen had a leash on Elway. Said, no, we're not going to do this. No, we're not going to do that.
Yes.
Pat Bowlen's biggest mistake was trying to give John Elway ownership.
Yep.
We addressed that in our that whole ownership, the reality. Yeah.
Now, when you were watching Seattle's defense, I'm gonna take a look at that. Was it okay? For instance, was it when you were watching the Saints? Was that on the Game Pass? Correct? Because I want to go back.
No, it's down. It's down on. It's down for maintenance. So I had to go and watch the condensed version that was online on YouTube.
Okay.
The condensed version. So.
When you. I'm trying to like kind of like gauge on what you're saying here. Was it a lot more to do when they were able to stop the run? Was it a lot more to do with those big defensive linemen that they had, like an Al Woods eating up 2 blocks, having those linebackers?
It was a combination. You had linebackers that knew how to get off coverage and stop the run. Number one.
That's another thing without. I said that was a problem with Alex Singleton and Josie Jewell. Once you get their hands on them, it's done. It's done.
They engage when they shouldn't engage either. I brought that up last year.
Good.
And also, I showed that. I'm sorry. Not last year. I brought that up with Josie Jewell the year before, the COVID year. That's when he had his full season. He was getting tied up and tangled up with tight ends. It's like, why are you engaging this guy?
But he had all these tackles.
Because they're running your way. They're all going out of their way to run in your direction, run in Draymond Jones' direction, run in Simmons' direction. It's
to some degree.
Shelby Harris. So
aim.
Yeah. So yeah. That's just it. So you asked the question, Seattle. Their edge. It was three phases. One, their coverage linebackers their linebackers could get off coverage and make tackles. Yes, their interior guys could go and make tackles. Their edge guys could come in and make tackles as well. So they had it in all 3 phases.
It wasn't like Gregory in the Dallas where they ran right at him.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with Gregory. That crap. Everybody could get off their block and make the tackle.
Again, and see, that's another thing. Okay, let me do this.
That's a team that is tough to run on.
How was their, we saw Baron Brown, and I said coming out of college has great sideline to sideline ability. How was their I guarantee you their linebacking, I could just probably name it at the top of my head without even watching the film. I bet their linebacking core was great on sideline to sideline ability, covering that middle of the field. Excellent.
Well, everybody, they kind of got their linebacking is 3. They got their linebacking are
it's a 4.
It's the sideline to side. I mean, they're assigned sections of the field.
Yeah, because you got the 4-3. They run that 4-3 defense.
So they
all linebackers and then Bobby Wagner.
Yes, when you want to say sideline, it's more like they they can get off a block and they can make a tackle.
That's what I
in their space, the space they're assigned to.
Okay, so even I still am learning, and I that's why I asked you the question. I'm going to go back and watch this film.
I'll post the Kurt Warner. He does an excellent job. So, it's definitely something. Like I said, if they stuff, like many teams have, stuff Denver's running, all I see is bombs away and just let's chew that offensive line up. That offensive line is going to have their hands full, yes, with Seattle's front seven. They're going to have I'm not saying it's like they're facing the Rams.
No.
But they're going to have their hands full. I'm just saying.
It's going to give that offensive line fits. And
it will.
It's, you know what? Here's something that needs to be said. It wasn't just, the good teams that we were facing that was giving the Broncos offensive line fits. It was the JV squad Lions. It was the Jaguars defensive line. It was the Giants defensive line. It was the first 4 games of the season, even the Lions, where they were giving our offensive line fits. And I was trying to tell you people that, hey, this is going to be a problem. This is going to be tenfold of a problem when we face the Ravens, the Steelers, the Chiefs, the Raiders, the Chargers. It's going to get worse. And look what happened. It reared its ugly head for the 7th fucking year in a row.
It's something we need to watch. Game 1 it's going to be the precursor of what's to come,
or even the preseason too. No one takes a lot from the preseason. I'm watching depth pieces. No one gives a shit about this, but I'm the one that will look at it and say, hey, a guy like Quentin Miners, you should not trade him to keep.
Well, that's another thing. There's rumors that the front office is talking about trading him.
Wow.
They're really good. Hey, get rid of them, man. That's the front office way. Something you just said something and it triggered something, and now
the preseason.
Oh yeah, preseason. So I don't. Problem is deep defensive linemen in preseason, even for starts, it's like, yoo-hoo, we're coming.
I'm not looking at starters. I'm looking at guys that are fighting for roster spots.
That's where you. Yeah, that's where. Yes.
That's what I look
at. Yes, you can see potential.
Yes.
Whether or not this coaching staff, I don't know what, it's going to be interesting. Defensively, I don't know what this coaching staff's looking at, but
well, every time I listen to them on the podium, it's all hype from them. It's like, oh my God, we had a great week. It's advanced.
Justin Simmons, at least this, he said, well, we won a couple battles, but not many. We didn't win many, but we did win some. So,
wow,
I'm taking that one to the bank. All right. Anything else?
No, I just gonna do some more film today, some breakdown. I think I'm gonna do Jamal Adams versus Justin Simmons. I just really want to watch Seattle's defense, and I just want to see how they use Jamal Adams, because there's a few games I did watch from Seattle last year, and I liked the way they used him because that fits his role. They had him come off blitzing off the edge. They had him they used him. Again, this is the problem I have with a guy like Justin Simmons. He is so one-dimensional that he's so hampered by so much. A guy like a Marcus Williams, a Jesse Bates, and a Mika Fitzpatrick, for example, they're comfortable playing one high safety with him, single high safety. Well, Justin Simmons, every time they play single high with him, that's when that happens. That's when they attack him. They go deep on one side. He just can't get there. He can't get there.
I've never seen that. I swear to God, I've never seen that guy help over the top, ever.
And they had to say, hey, what? I finally had to say to you, because you're like, he's not good, but I was like, hey, I would love to see you look at Justin Simmons. You watching?
Oh yeah, I meant this. Before we did this video, I was going to do that too, because that was my little history. It's you brought it up. You said, just check this out, and I'm like, wow. I mean, I was like, wow, bad wow, like, wow, this guy really is bad. And I had a coworker that's a Bronco fan. We were talking about all the hate and the death threats and stuff, and he said, no, I understand that, because there's so many idiots out there. And he goes, that doesn't surprise me. But what surprises me is the Bronco fans really need video to know that Justin Simmons sucks.
Yes.
Did they watch the game? As a Bronco fan. So that does just these idiots in the bubble. Agreed. Super Bowl. Agreed. That doesn't mean every Bronco fan out there is buying it.
And the last thing I'm going to say is, and then you can close it out. The last thing I'm going to say is, I believe, people are saying, oh, Justin Simmons is going to have a great year and all this. I think there's going to be more. This is my opinion. I think, and it's not because I'm hating on Simmons, I'm critiquing him. I think Fangio did a good job of hiding him. And I think he was told to hide him because he sucks so bad.
I think he's hiding himself.
Well, that too. I think there's going to be a lot more of bad this year from Justin Simmons that we've seen in years past, because I think a lot of his downfalls are going to show because he doesn't have a guy like Vic Fangio that can scheme a certain way. Because the difference between a Ejiro and a Vic Fangio, I think Ejiro is listening to Don Capers, and we're going to have all this influence of a 3-4, 4-3, Tampa 2, just bullshit fucking system. That's going to hamper a lot of development. I wouldn't be surprised if it hampered Patrick Surtain's development. You know? Oh, well, let's move him in the slot. Let's experiment with this. Let's listen to the play.
Yeah, that's all going to be interesting. That's all going to be interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a great experiment that I think that they're going to embark. Yeah, that's it's that throw the spaghetti against the wall mentality. 6 years of that. We're going on 7 years of that. And just somehow, miraculously, things are going to change, all because of Russell Wilson. It's not even logical.
And when you have players run the asylum that say, oh, I want to try this out, you should be like, no.
Hey, I'm going. Yeah, I'm Coach Hackett. Whatever you say.
Yeah, that's exactly how he acts, too, on the podium. Oh, my gosh, we had a great practice. We got Greg Dulcich.
Super Bowl.
We got Greg Dulcich. Haven't heard a peep from him.
Haven't heard a word, but he's there. No, just trust us.
Gold jacket.
He's in the hot tub right now with Gregory.
He sounds like Mario.
Oh, did you see my running back skills?
Yeah, exactly. It's always a smile from him. I took a ball from Russell Wilson.
Hey, I'm Hackett. I want to let you know that we threw a ball right to Justin Simmons. Yeah, he looked great. He could be our next receiver. Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna.
I'm Ben Hackett.
Yeah, what happens when the lose? What are they gonna do with all that losing?
I'm not having any use of all this losing.
Yeah, let me get my nails done now. Oh, it's so great to have you. Great. Yeah. So great to say thank you for that great analysis. Yeah. We'll get your nails done.
Oh, also, I want to congratulate the Avalanche of the 7-0 win. I wish the Broncos.
All right. Okay. Now we got to talk about that.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
No. We got to talk about this from the Broncos' perspective. The insanity out there, probably coming from the front office, it was as delusional as delusion can get. They think they're like the Avalanche. No, you are not the Avalanche. You don't have the player personnel. You didn't develop. You didn't draft. You didn't. No. Avalanche is in this universe over here. They're maybe more like the Tampa. They're more like the Los Angeles Rams. There's that connection. They're more like that. You guys are like the Cleveland, of old, buying your own bullshit. Avs don't need a PR machine. Okay, they don't have to sit there and say, trust us, Super Bowl, or Stanley Cup, trust us. Yeah, we're working hard and doing swell. Yeah, they don't operate that way. Their front office knows what they're doing, and everybody can see the results. Okay, so don't think you're the Avalanche, Denver Broncos. You're not even anywhere in that universe. Trust us. 6 years going on 7, you're going to find out the hard way. Yeah. I took the ball. I wasn't playing running back. I just wonder how these press conferences are going to go when things aren't going very well.
Yeah, they lose to the Raiders, Raiders, Colts, and Niners.
Well, positive around here. We're still yeah. Hey, Vance Joseph 2.0, leader of men.
I was the only one out there saying it. Yeah, you're wrong.
Oh my God, did you realize we just got hacked? Have you realized it?
He wasn't even calling the plays in Green Bay.
That's a lie. That's a lie. Everything you say is a lie.
Of course, yep.
Which burn him to the stake. Yeah. All right. You had enough? I've had enough.
Okay.
Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.